Can you hear us now? Ingrid, can you hear us now?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Approve the agenda.
Second?
I will second the agenda.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Mrs. Kunersberry, are there any public comments? All right, on to the first topic, 47.
I was expecting Ms. Crosby to be here today because OE7 is asset protection and the majority of it is financial assets. In my department, we have Jennifer Staten, who does physical assets. And she's the one who maintains the insurance to ensure all properties are insured and secured every year. So there is also technological assets as well as some things from Robert, where you disappeared.
He was on the phone to get Tanya.
Okay.
And
All
here
right.
comes.
So while we're waiting for them, I will kind of give you a brief overview of what Jennifer does, what her responsibilities are. She works through a broker. She is kind of a free agent. She looks at all of our buildings, all of our property, which we have about $1 billion worth. And she makes sure that they're all insured properly. Hurricane damage, storm damages, fire damages, all kinds of protections. She works through one of the largest brokers of pool organizations in the country. And she reviews each one of our policies every year along with it. They do hurricane calculation and insure the bill. That's $1 billion for any land per se. It's just good. That's what she does. We also self-insured for workers' comp. Because the deductible is so high, it's a $500 deductible. So we opt to carry our own insurance for workers' comp.
Yeah, mention it. Rob. Oh, I'm good. That's a really great time.
This is OE7.
7 years.
We're going with 7. So you just take care of the part. So everything.
Do I have you in a waiting room?
Oh, we need to start it.
Let me send you that. Look at that.
My apologies. Time got away from me. 7.4, section 7.4 of asset protection is protecting intellectual property, information, records, and assets. So this area is primarily technology. And so the technology is in charge of the cybersecurity, which also protects, limits access to sensitive data, files, and records. Authorized personnel only. So we have processes within the workflows of the financial softwares, payroll softwares to limit access to certain individuals. Every software system we have is limited to a certain number, certain people that should be authorized to have access to those areas. And also we have clear audit trails to ensure accountability for access. for example, has an audit trail or audit feature that allows you to go in and see any change that was made in the system and who made it. So that's an example of that sort of access control. Also, we employ encryption, authentication. You see the multi-factor authentication, which is increasingly prevalent in every software system we're using. Security storage, regularly update cybersecurity protections like firewalls, antivirus, intrusion detection to prevent unauthorized access. So we have we ensure that we have digital and paper records that are backed up when necessary, stored in compliance with legal, educational, and regulatory standards if they are required to be paper records, and implement redundancies. We have a second a backup location at May River High School that is our secondary if this network goes down in this building. So there's always a replication so that we ensure that we don't lose any important data. Fixed asset protection. We have asset tags. Your computers all have tags on them that are identified for Beaufort County School District. This is an example of one right here. And that barcode scan is used as applied in the, it used to be a Destiny software. There's a new, where library books are captured, but I think the new company is 1-to-1 or something like that, where they have a digital inventory of every computer, every box light board, these boards, and those sorts of things that the district owns. And that is inventoried and monitored every year through the technology department. Disaster recovery, we have a disaster plan for technology and for the district. Have regular backup tests, recovery, and security procedures in the event of emergencies. And then adequate financial reserves. So according to board policy OE5, we have a fund balance that maintains no less than 60 days of operations. And we just moved from 20% to 21%. So we have over 70, I think it's 76% or 76 days of operations at this point. Yes. So that is another way that we protect against, to protect the district against unforeseen circumstances. And so the evidence of those compliance is our annual financial report, the budget, and the quarterly report where we report those reserves on a regular basis. So let's see. On number 7.6 relates to asset identification and security. So that shows you a copy of the asset tag that not only is put on laptops, it's also put on major assets in the district. So if there are major things that have a value of greater than $5,000 or more individual items, then we would have asset tags on those. And then we send, every year we send out a spot check a listing of assets to every school. They go through them and identify any assets have been removed, changed, moved throughout the building, and then we readjust, and then we have a fixed asset module in Munis software where we track the location of those assets. And so that is the inventory management system. In 7.6.b there, which gives the asset type, location, and all of that is also used in our financial reporting as well. So we have samples of the tagged assets. We have inventory reports that show the serial numbers of assets like vehicles or those sorts of things. And we have audit logs where we do annual inspections annually. And then we have ongoing monitoring as well, which is basically the inventories to ensure that the assets are present, and if not, that they're flagged for immediate investigation. That one's legal. A couple of the shall nots. The superintendent shall not invest funds in investments that are not secured and not authorized by law. So all of our bank accounts are required to be collateralized. And so anything in our accounts are protected not just by the FDIC, the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, but also they're collateralized by other assets of the district. And the most of our investments are managed by the county. So in one of the final pages here, let's see the page numbers there, but 7.5 and 2, our investments are with the local government investment pool. We call it LGIP, and the state, the county, state government has a government pool and allows all governmental investments to be pulled together, and we get better interest rates. So this investment pool has more than 1,200 accounts overall, with like $15 billion in it, including our funds as well. And they provide protections for the district and very good interest rates. The interest rates were in the at least 3 to 4% throughout the last several years, which is much higher than our banking interest rates are, which are in below 1% investments. So it's a better rate for us. And we get that information. The funds go to the county, and then we report it, and we record interest income in our financial statements. So the way that we monitor that is in the budget. So we monitor and make assumptions of what that budget be for interest income and what revenues we believe will support other deposit accounts, or the general fund or the capital projects fund. And we put those in there each year, and we're able to track how much progress we're making there and what interest rates we're getting. So this is a chart of the interest income by fund that we've seen. You see, of course, 40 in the last couple of years is in the capital projects fund. That's in blue. So you see in FY23 in particular, that was a high point of a cash balance when we were getting probably midway through the 2019 referendum. So cash in the bank was high. So we were getting a lot of interest, and interest rates were very good back then. They've come down a bit. And so those are in the blue, and then the red are the general fund interest income that we're reporting, which is just anywhere between $2 to $4 million. We use those general fund dollars to help fund the operations of the district. So those are shown in the quarterly financials, the annual financials, and the budget book. And so I think that concludes my section of the report. I'll be happy to take any questions you may have on that.
As far as the asset tax, I'm sorry, does anybody else have any questions? Are the asset tax tied to serial numbers for the equipment that they're on? Do we know that?
Definitely vehicles are. And if we have a serial number available to us, we will put it in the system. So I wouldn't say that every single item has a serial number, or if they have one, would be placed in there. But in my opinion, if it's on the invoice that we have the documentation of, it should be in the fixed asset module.
Okay. I mean, the asset tags are just stickers. I'm just like, somebody can scrape the stuff off and take whatever it's attached to, or move it, or pilfer it. I mean, I think those are considered for highly pilferable items, right?
Yeah.
You know, some things that are more than $5,000 are small enough to put in a car. You know,
I would check on it, especially with the laptops. I would think that a serial number for the laptops, I would assume would be in our system as well.
okay. I just make sure like the asset tag isn't the only way that we're tracking an item that could be considered highly pilferable.
Right. I'll double check with Mr. Chauhan.
Okay. And then I think this might be a topic for the finance committee, but I'm pretty interested in the local government investment pool. I'd like to know a lot more about that. So there are future topics. I think I'm going to ask for that to be a breakout and have a brief given to the board about that, rather than ask a gazillion questions here.
Might be good for us to ask someone from the treasurer's office to come in, because they manage those investments. So that might be a good opportunity to connect with them as well.
Perfect. Any other questions concerning OE7?
Yep, if the committee members are done.
Mrs. Boatright.
Thank you. I'm sorry, the audio was cutting in and out pretty badly there for a little bit, but I heard Miss Walton say, it sounded like she said we're self-insured for workers' comp. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Is that a new, recent change? Because I thought we used to be involved in the state workers' comp pool.
No, we've been self-insured for many years, haven't we, John?
Yes.
Yes, that's not new.
At least 15 years, maybe.
At least 15
Okay.
years.
And then one of the parts of the OE are periodic reviews. Who's in charge of doing the periodic reviews of coverage?
That would be Jennifer Staten, our risk manager.
Okay, so she does all of it in one comprehensive
all of
sort of. Okay, because I know with cybersecurity, there's a lot going on in terms of cyber defense, and I think Mark Shohan's not here, but the big risk is from basically the compliance piece with cybersecurity. So I didn't know if we had added that to our portfolio or not.
I'm sure we have, because she doesn't do these in isolation. It
Okay.
is always with our broker. So, and whatever is new, they always bring it forward to us.
Okay.
She just guides the process.
And one broker manages all insurance?
Yes, that
Okay.
broker manages everything.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, in terms of tags, that's a great question. So the questions is what all do we tag? And then in terms of vehicles, equipment, what all do we tag? What does that look like?
Items over $5,000, there's a federal capitalization threshold. And so but these are not $5,000, but they're very mobile items and very easily misappropriated or moved or or lost or stolen. So those we do as well. And there's an inventory system specifically for the laptops and other electronic devices.
So I was, in other words, out of the district vehicles will be tagged as well.
Are they?
Yeah.
They have serial numbers, a different type of tag.
Right, they have a number on them, and of course that we track all those.
So it's not a sticker. It's going to be, you see numbers on the back of each vehicle,
Right.
and then they have a license plate and they have a serial number. So those are the tracking mechanisms for a vehicle.
So if that's the case, then if ever asked how many district vehicles we have, that should be an easy just a printout.
Yeah.
Okay, because I think I remember asking something like that before, and I remember we were shuffling about the time on that, and hearing this right here. If that's the case, then we should be able to know within a matter of minutes or seconds what all we as a district what all we own in terms of anything over $5,000. Is that correct? That's definitely good to know. But I was not didn't have that understanding. But I did know that even like in some of the county cars or the Beaufort County and be Pacific, the Beaufort County cars, I know they have like they have 5, 6, 7, or 8, 9 or whatever. They have the cars labeled.
We do also.
I think some of our cars. I remember a while back that we were saying that all of our cars were supposed to be labeled.
The only ones that are not labeled are our security vehicles.
And those should be labeled as well, because I remember we talked about it. And
They have magnets. So there's times where they go to houses that they don't want that necessarily to be noticeable, but they have magnets they can put on. They have Beaufort County School District on there, but they aren't permanent.
Well, you want to come up so that this thing can make sure we can clearly hear you.
So all I was saying is all equipment and vehicles that we have are asset tagged, and even our security vehicles are asset tagged. Our 2 security officers, that's only 2 vehicles. They are not, but they do have magnets that can be put on there to display Beaufort County School District when they need to.
Right, but those vehicles should. But I think I remember us having that conversation as well that day. That those vehicles should be tagged as well. And I think there was someone who said was some probably I remember it was some people who wanted to be hesitant, but when I think when the board
No, actually, they may have the number on the back. They may actually have a number. They just don't have the Beaufort County School District, like their magnets that they use.
well, I don't want to go back and forth with it, but this is what I do want to say. I just want to make it crystal clear as day. How do you remember us when we had that conversation, saying that all vehicles, if we're going to tag one, that if we're going to display it on one, that we're going to display it all, and also for the safety of our employees, and if our securities as our officers are going somewhere, are going some places that they don't want their vehicles tagged, asking that to be an issue because of the fact that where would you go and you would not want yourself to be identified? They are not law enforcement, and their job function, to my understanding, is not the function of law enforcement.
No, they
So
do not.
so hold on, let me finish, and then like I said, I don't want to go back and forth on this. I'm just stating how I feel and what brings me concerns, and yeah, and they're not law enforcement. So therefore, if we're going somewhere and they're doing something that is law enforcement that's necessary, then I think that is important. It's important that we contact law enforcement and allow for law enforcement to do those things. But for them to go somewhere and they can't be identified is a little scary and a little concerning, beyond the safety of them being it comes across, it could possibly be a liability to the district. And I just want to leave that there. I don't want to go back and forth, but I do remember
Would you
having
like
a
me to answer
conversation.
the question?
Go ahead, take a crack at it. But I said I didn't want to go back and forth, but I know that's your tendency. But go ahead.
Okay, I won't answer that. That's fine.
Hold on, we don't need
I want to answer.
decorum, please.
That's the quorum. I just said that is
You're making accusations against somebody's character. That's
no, that's
good.
no, that's not. I'm not.
Are there any other comments to be made?
There you go. There you go. That's that. Yeah.
Is there any other comments about OE7? All right, so just like our last meeting, we'll have all the briefs on all the OEs, then we'll make one motion to approve and pass to the consent agenda. On
Well, actually, also a question too. Is this the agenda? I caught it the last minute, even though we approved the agenda. Is this the agenda that we canceled the meeting the last time that you said that was all those pages that you wanted that we could not meet on? Is this the same agenda?
yes, this is that agenda.
Because I'm just a little baffled because of my prior experience with operations. And when one thing that we know was when HR bring their when HR has always brought their agenda to us, and when they brought their OEs to us, they've always been kind of a one day, and it's always just been HR, and they have bought they bought a circle a about 5 or 6 or how much ever that they bring, and that has normally been the course of the standard procedures of operations of how they've done that. And when the meeting was canceled, I was just wondering what was different about that time versus any other time that we have meetings in terms of how they bring their information. What was different about currently till now? Because I don't see anything that's not has not have been standard for them when they normally bring it. And so what I also noticed that time that also Hilton Head had something, at the same time Beaufort had something on our last operation meeting, not knowing and not saying that maybe that's why it was canceled. But I'm just trying to understand why the meeting was canceled. I think that this is had been. I was wondering what the agenda looked like versus what it had looked like in the past, and I was wondering what would be the difference if you could speak to that.
Yeah, we'd love to. Well, let's do that after the meeting. Because that's, I mean, we're not, let's go ahead and move forward with the agenda. And then if you have a personal comment about that, then I can tell you exactly why. Let's go ahead and move forward with the meeting.
I don't think that's a personal conversation. I think
It is a conversation.
but I don't think that's when you said personal. I don't think that's a personal. I will respect your personal, your personal comment.
Okay, then I'll respond to your comment. The material was given to us 24 hours in advance. That was not enough time for me I work a full-time job. I normally don't get out until about 4 o'clock, maybe 4:30 in the afternoon, depending on my rehearsals. That 24 hours in advance, less than 24 hours in advance, was not enough time for me to review all that material. There's over 30 pages of material to review. I like to do the pre-read. I know there are some board members that don't do the pre-read. I like to become prepared as possible to do the pre-read. 24 hours, less than 24 hours in advance was not enough time for me to do the pre-read. Therefore, I canceled the meeting. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, yes, sir. So
Can we
then,
move forward then?
then since we're having a discussion, then that would bring me to say, it also goes along with experience, because if that's the case, then maybe we should ask them in uptown and in the future to bring their information. Um,
I think it's understood now.
I mean, well, even if it's understood, it just to me, let me say, it's a slap in the face from someone who's been here and who's been working hard, and they've worked hard to bring us their information. And we can't pick and choose when we say that, oh, we want to work with staff, or we want to have staff to do things in a timely manner, and they do it in a timely manner, and then we cancel it because we said that it's not on us. I think it becomes incumbent for both of us to have some type of consistency, and have you and I, or have we had the conversation on the front end from someone being a senior member on this board. Don't have to be the chair, no matter where you sit at, but you still have the experience to understand what's being transpired or what's taking place. Then I would have told you, hey, listen, hey, by the way, in the future you might want to tell them, or you might want to ask them, because they're going, when they come, they bring their whole spot, they bring their whole kit and caboodle, because that's where they got the name of the Mob Squad from. Because when they come, they bring in they're bringing everyone in their shop, and they give us a full explanation on what's going on. So I think that's why not only is it today talking and understanding who's on the committee and working with committee members is important, versus just running it as a chair, as a single member is very important, because that's why we are where we're at today. And I just wanted to go ahead and understand that, understand that. So therefore, we don't continue to make those mistakes, because you're not, in your defense, you're not the only one who've done that. But I've seen other people who are chairs now who do things like this, and then they take it personal when people call them out. But it's not calling them out about it. It's saying, hey, listen, if we're going to communicate, but let's not communicate when it's convenient for one or two people. Let's communicate when it's convenient for everyone, so that we have a better understanding, and we're doing the work that we're supposed to be doing, and that we're doing it together, not individually. Thank you. That's.
Can we move on now?
Ms. Boatwright's hands
Yeah,
up.
we can move.
Mrs. Boatright.
We can move on.
Nope, lowered my hand. Move on. Thank you.
Yeah, oh my magic.
OE2?
Question, are we taking a vote to move this to consent agenda?
Like we did with our previous OE meeting, we'll do one motion for all four.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
I have OE2, which is the superintendent's succession plan. And the policy states that the superintendent should designate at least one other executive staff member to take his place in his absence. And that staff member should be familiar with the board's governance policy, as well as operation of the district. And what you have in front of you is that plan. You have key positions listed, and you have the succession plan listed as well. And that would be the individual who takes the place of the superintendent. If he's not here, that's Dr. Lee, and it falls down the line with the next chief officer. And I will answer any questions you might have.
How deep does this go?
When you say deep, how?
I mean,
far down-
like as far as depth goes, okay, so superintendent's out, Dr. Lee moves up, everybody shifts up one position.
That's correct. So
So in the event that, I see that, thank you. In the event that Dr. Lee goes down, then you shift up.
I shift up.
That's what I'm saying. Now, how far does our succession plan go? Are we 3 deep, 4 deep,
No, we are,
or just 2 deep?
no, we are actually 8 deep.
Okay.
All the way down.
Yeah, I'm talking about in each department.
Oh, now each department.
Yeah, because when you vacate to take over the assistant superintendent job, then
And I will have someone to pull up in my place.
Right.
So each department has their own succession plan. So if I'm not here, someone else steps up.
Right, that's what I was talking about. Like, are we 3 deep when it comes to that?
2.
2 deep. Okay,
Yes.
that's the only question I have. Anybody else have any questions about OE2? Mr. Smith?
No, I just said that was a great question. When you think about that, that's a great question.
All right, then moving right along. OE4.
Oh,
3.
real quick, and this plan, if something happens to, Dr. Rodriguez, I'm sure before it kicks in, the full board should know about this, correct?
Oh, absolutely. And Dr. Rodriguez cannot make any changes to this plan unless the board's notified. So you would know who steps up next. And if he makes a change,
Dave Brown's going once, going twice. OE3.
Right. About OE3, the superintendent shall maintain an organizational culture that treats all people, including parents, citizens, and staff, with respect, dignity, and courtesy. There are 3 parts to this, and I'm going to focus a little bit on parts 1 and 2. You have heard part 3. A lot of the same information was presented last time. The first part is manage information in such ways that confidential information is protected. So mandatory FERPA and ethics training are completed by all employees. District employees sign an annual confidentiality agreement that covers topics such as records, emails, reports, financial information, employment information. Technology utilizes automatic filters that prevent emailing of confidential data. That's listed there. FOIA requests are reviewed to make sure confidential information was redacted as necessary. We take this very seriously. Ms. Godley and myself, along with Ms. Cartledge, reviews all of our FOIA requests and responses to ensure this. And also when we respond to media requests about students or employees, we always decline to comment on any disciplinary or medical information as protected by federal law. And we also have a FERPA section on our website to explain people's rights in that regard. The second one is maintain process for the effective handling of complaints. Complaints or concerns received via email, telephone, social media, or the report a concern form on the district website are routed to the district staff member or school principal best suited to respond to that complaint. If a complaint was not resolved at this level, it is directed to the superintendent or the superintendent's designee. And who receives the complaint report a concern form is myself and Jennifer Staten that Alice mentioned. Number 3 is maintain an organizational culture that values individual differences of opinion, reasonably includes people and decisions that affect them, provides open and honest communication in all written and interpersonal interaction, focuses on common achievement of the board's results policies, maintains an open and responsive and welcoming environment. So again, as I did before, kind of talked about this through the strategic plan in terms of building a district-wide culture of pride, trust, and respect. We have our Go Public campaign right now. And as part of that process in developing that, we had focus groups consisting of parents, high school students, community members, teachers, and staff. So people can share their perspectives. And we had some board members attend as well. Fostered positive internal and external communications by keeping stakeholders informed of important matters through the district's 30+ websites, news releases, email messaging, YouTube videos, social media, and robocall communications. One of our strengths is, and we work with HR a lot on this, our emergency communications, and especially during weather situations. I always like to give the clock a shout out. I think that's very, very important for our transparency. And it's definitely fostered district trust in that regard. In the district office, we've also, again, worked with topics with HR, held quarterly meetings for district office staff to make sure everybody's updated on information. Dr. Rodriguez has parent advisory groups, teacher representative groups, community groups, student advisory. I mentioned before, we have our new Partners in Education program designed to create business partnerships to enhance student learning and achievement. We are going to be rolling that out in January. Our BCSDU program that is where people in the community can learn about the district and all the different departments in it. It's going to be offered this year through USCB's Osher Lifelong Learning Institute, OLLI, and we're kind of excited about that. I think we're going to reach a lot of people that way. And in terms of, we have our BCSD Connected platform where we put our surveys out, our website.
had nearly 900,000 page views. I think our social media is one of our strengths. We have over 26,000 followers on Facebook alone. Ron Lopes' reels, they're always a big hit. His videos this year, we added reels and they've been viewed more than 2.3 million times. We also, we have Lee Copeland now, who's been great on the internal communication front. Our staff newsletter has been looking full, and it has about 6,000 views per edition. That means employees are looking at it on average about 2 times, which is great. And she also revamped the intranet for internal information. And basically, the superintendent continues to accept any and all invitations to speak to local civic and community organizations of all political affiliations. And that's very, very important because he does foster trust across many different kinds of audiences. So I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
I'd be interested to have a breakout, and this is going to be another future topic, but I'd be interested to have a breakout about the impact that OLLI program has on the
I think it's gonna be interesting too. Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Mrs. Boatright.
I just had a quick comment because I don't feel like this gets captured very adequately in our superintendent evaluation. But I think that this is a tremendous strong suit of Dr. Rodriguez and his staff in terms of rebuilding trust. Because when I came on the board, trust was abysmal. And now we've passed 2 referendums. I think you guys do an amazing job. I don't think you get enough credit for how bad things were and how mission critical it was to rebuild that trust. So I just wanted to take this opportunity to say that now.
No, thank you. And we are very fortunate to have Dr. Rodriguez. He's a great leader on that regard.
Awesome. Any other comments on,
Also, Dr. Carr is on as well.
Oh.
To let you know.
welcome, Dr. Carr. No, you just got here. Do you have any comments over OE3? Guess not.
OE3 is great. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thanks, sir. Any other say?
Yeah, this OE3, I do have some concerns with OE3. And I'll say that OE3, it's a great resume, but in terms of the stakeholders really being invested in some of these things, it does concern me. I won't go into all of it today, but OE3 it is a concern of mine. In terms of when I see the word stakeholders, and what we did, like I said, this looks great on paper, but I just think that I do have some concerns with it, and I'll just leave that there.
Well, Mr. Smith, I'm happy to talk with you at another time because Dr. Campbell and I have been working on an engagement committee, which is a smaller group of people, to work on more engaging things across the county, and kind of work with Ashley Hutchinson as well, and just make sure we're touching as many groups as we can. So just FYI on that.
Thank you.
Sure.
Right. I don't know if you put her hand back up or not. Her hand's up.
Mrs. Boatright?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, moving on. Any other saved rounds on OE3? Saved rounds going once, going twice? OE4.
I have a spot by me. OE4 is personnel administration. And it is a large OE. It encompasses a lot of different areas in the district. And it has to be this large because it covers our most valuable asset, and that's our employees. So we are going to present this to you tonight in 3 different forms. So you have received from us the executive summary that I'm sure you've gone over, and we have different sections with a lot of prongs on each one of those sections. So we created a PowerPoint for you to go through on your own. We are not going to go slide by slide by slide. That's just for you to refer to. So as you look at the executive summary, you can go back to the slide and it breaks it down and it makes it a little bit easier. And then we have a cheat sheet that we're going to actually go over with you tonight. And that's going to really bring it all home. I have with me Dr. Carlos Cave, Athletic Director, Ms. Rosella Robinson, she's our benefit coordinator, Dr. Sanjay Leach, who is our Teacher Quality Director, Dr. Matthew Hunt, is Operations, HR Operations and Generalist, Ms. Kiki Swinton, who is our Employee Services Director, and then Reggie Dees, who is our Personnel Director. So these are the experts around the table. After I run through these bullet points, you feel free to ask us any questions that you may have. So because they are so big, or this OE is so large, we've broken it up into 5 different sections. And these sections will include everything that the OE and the board requires us to do. Governance, recruitment, employment, climate and compensation, and development and evaluation. So under governance, PCSD is guided by adhering to our administrative rules. We abide by our personnel rules and procedures. And just a few bullet points under that. Title IX, we trained 45 Title IX investigators this year. There are 587 confidentiality statements completed this year by employees. There are 18 modules of safe schools training that all employees are required to complete. So each employee got an average of about 6.25 hours of that training. So with those bullets, that keeps us in line with our governance piece. In recruitment, we select the most qualified candidates, and that's governed by HRS 19, HRS 20, HRS 21, and HRS 40. So we have continued this year with our in-person orientations. Last year was our first year back to in-person orientations after COVID, because during COVID, we had to do everything virtually, but we brought everybody back in-house last year and this year. We employed this summer over 3 months, 2 months,
3 months.
3 months, 580 new employees. And that number is extra large this year because we brought back in-house the parapros from ESS. And that was about, I mean,
It's roughly 120.
120 employees from ESS back to us. We've continued our partnership with our virtual learning arm. We have 61 international teachers with us. We now have 25 LEAP teachers in our classroom. And just to bring you up to speed with LEAP, it is our alternative certification program. So we decided to do our own so we can grow our own in-house, train them, and pay them as they're being trained. And we have also, and we were really excited about this, partnered with the Transportation Department with their recruiting efforts. And from 26 vacancies in 24-25, we're down now to single digits with bus drivers. On the climate and compensation, we offer competitive practice compensations and benefits. And we are governed by HRS 19, 20, 21, and 40. Our beginning teacher salary is $60,087. We still give our 1,500 localities supplement for all employees across the board. We still sponsor our after-school EPIC childcare, and we served 200 employees, children, or 200 students last year. It went from a no-pay program to a minimal pay program. And what we added this year was a payroll deduction. So it makes it easier for those parents to pay, and they don't have to be bothered with that. We're glad to say that there are no changes to our insurance premiums. So employees still got the same benefits, no increase. There was an 86% response rate to our Upbeat survey. And we use that for controlling our climate to see how our employees feel. And we built up, I guess we could go back to Ms. Boatwright's trust. They believe in the survey now, so they participate more. We actually had to work hard to get them to that point. And I think it's taken us how many years, Matt? 3?
4 now.
4 years. So we've been doing the survey for 4 years. They expect the survey, they answer the survey, and I believe they answer honestly. Employment. We ensure sufficiency in staffing through monitoring and analyzing employment data, and that's governed by HRS 55. We have 3,717 volunteer background checks. So that means volunteers have gone through our background checks with a rate of 3,000, more than 3,000. And that is beginning to come back up from our low during COVID. Our certified retention rate increased to 88.21%. Total employee retention rate is at 88.84%. We have only 300 inactive employee files remaining out of 14,060 files. So we are 300 away from saying we are totally paperless personnel files. We have updated our athletic guidelines, our coaching guidelines, our coaching agreements, and we have brought our athletics departments across the board in compliance and with a consistent expectation from the district level. Our athletic director professional development through AIAAA LCTC 511, Dr. Gabe, I'm saying that right?
Yes.
That has been implemented. So our athletic directors are nationally trained as well. And then finally, in our development and evaluation, we evaluate all employees to improve and support employees' performance and instruction. We have conducted more than 4,000 hours of professional development, averaging 397 hours
Pleasure.
per month. Our emergency response kits are distributed through all schools and programs. And as you know, that comes through our safety director, and that's Jerry Henderson. She does all the training. She's responsible for all employees to be trained. And all over 200 employees are trained to administer CPR, stop the bleed, and Narcan. And as usual, our HR boot camp was hosted this summer for principals and assistant principals. And during the boot camp, we make sure that they're up to date on new laws, new policies, and any legal advice that they might just have. And with that, I will open it up for any questions you might have about it.
Question, comments, concerns? I'll answer. I've got questions about recruitment. As far as the LEAP, when we're talking about alternative pathways, are we like finding people from industry, like taking engineers and turning them into teachers to teach math? Is that what we're talking about?
That's what we're talking
How successful is that program right now? Like, how many LEAP teachers do we have actually in the training pipeline and or teaching?
I'm going to let Dr. Leach talk about where we were this time last year and where we are now.
So last year we had 6, we started out with 6 and then we added 19. So we're right now we have 25 in the pipeline. It's going very well. We haven't lost any so far, and we provide them with mentoring throughout the year. We have Miss Angela Bellantone, she's the coordinator, and then we have Miss Jennifer Beck, she's one of our in-house from the district who goes out to the schools and provides support. And we just added a retiree, Dr. Mack. She will be going into schools to help support them as well. It's going very well. When we met, we had our leadership meeting before we got out for the break. And she said she feels very good after the visits compared to how she felt when we met in October. In October, she was nervous. We had a few who were ready to bail, but since then, with the support and with the collaboration that we've had with the instructional department, it's been very well. So
How
so
does
far, looking good.
How does the state handle their certification since they haven't gone through like formal training?
So they have to take the praxis and they have 3 years to take the praxis and pass their coursework. And once they pass their coursework and they pass the praxis, then they're good to go.
Awesome. As far as the virtual teachers, how many classes are we teaching that are virtual? And how are we handling the virtual classes? 61 teachers from 17 countries that are virtual.
Those are not virtual,
Those
those
are-
are in-person teachers from
Oh,
other countries. But we do have virtual teachers in the classroom.
okay.
We have them from a company called Proximity Learning. We probably have around 10 teachers. Those teachers are virtual from wherever they live. And we also provide a facilitator in the classroom that works right along with that virtual teacher to help monitor the classroom.
Kind of a proctor, so to speak.
Yes,
Adult in the room. Gotcha.
sir.
And what type of subject matter are we teaching through virtual learning? Are we core subjects? Are we,
Core subjects and to include special education.
have we noticed any type of change in evaluation in the class for classes that are taught virtually? Because without the teacher in the room and it's just a proctor or an adult in the room, kind of making sure, is there any slip of educational material like not being
They
given?
use our educational platform.
All right. Leap, we are talking about teachers of tomorrow. What are teachers of tomorrow?
It's an alternative certification program, but it's run by Teachers of Tomorrow. And that is where teachers come in, take an exam,
Yeah, same thing as LEAP.
same thing as LEAP, and they're put in the classroom. But they don't have support.
They don't have support.
They don't have support. They just send them to us.
But we support them for the first 2 or 3 years. So it's just like Teachers of Tomorrow, PACE. PACE is another alternative program.
I was about to
That
ask
is
that next.
that is through the State Department of Education. So there's Teachers of Tomorrow, PACE, Teachers Abroad. So there's 4 or 5 alternative programs at the State Department of Education. But again, we created our own, which is LEAP, which Dr. Leach kind of supervises. So we're recruiting our own within our, so most of the teachers that come in, if we have classroom assistants that have a bachelor's degree, we recruit.
Yep.
And we try to gear them towards our program so that we can get them in the classroom.
Gotcha. And Carolina Cap, is that another one of those?
Same thing.
Gotcha. Okay, awesome. Rehirees, retiree rehires. How successful is that program right now?
It's very successful. Here's how we manage that program. So around the end of the school year, principals can request to rehire a retiree to help fill hard to fill vacancies. That's like a last resort. We're constantly recruiting new teachers fresh out of college or teachers that haven't retired, but we use that as a last resort. So if we can't fill a classroom, principals have an opportunity to offer that position prior to the end of the school year to fill that vacancy if they don't think they will have an opportunity to fill it throughout the summer.
Financially, how are we managing that? Because if they're already receiving a retirement pension, now how are we compensating them on top of their retirement?
So we are compensating them on their regular, we don't, this board has not said that we're going to do anything differently than pay them their normal salary. The state gives all boards the right to say you can alter retiree salaries if you want to. But this board has never said do anything less than pay them what they would be making if they were not retired. So when they come in, they will receive their retirement, whatever that is, plus a regular salary in the classroom. Am I correct?
That's correct.
All right.
And that has to be approved through the State Department of Education. So it's not a guarantee.
Oh, okay.
In the classroom.
That's a big one.
They have to fill out a waiver and they have to, their waiver has to be approved through the state.
The state.
Yeah, so the state has to decide whether or not they can double dip.
Yes.
Gotcha. All right. That was what I was getting at. And then under another one, I'm not sure. I'm sorry. Mr. Gordon, did you have a question?
go ahead.
Okay. I didn't know what this meant.
Fascinating. That slide, every year, when we engage in our staffing for school sites, I don't know if Ms. Cushenberry wants to bring that slide number up. Slide 14.
Yeah.
When we engage in the staffing of certified teachers per building, that's all done on a per pupil allocation. But what we have here is on the right side where it says the state of South Carolina, they have a minimum staffing ratio, or excuse me, a maximum threshold ratio. And that's what's on the right-hand side. What we have on the left-hand side is how Beaufort County staffs buildings. And so if you just take kindergarten, for example, that's on top, the non-high poverty schools. So in the old days when we called them Title I schools, which sometimes they're referred to Title I, there's a gamut of Title I schools that could be 55% poverty or more, all the way on up to 75%. Some schools are community eligible at 100% poverty. So we have three classes: non-high poverty, high poverty, and then very high poverty. And we staff 24-1 in the non-high poverty. So that's 24 students to one teacher, and so forth as the chart goes. And what you can see, it's a competitive advantage as well when it comes to recruiting, because we can offer a lower teacher student ratio. But that's a process we engage in with finance annually. And that's basically how we do that.
Excellent. Well, thank you for explaining that. I'm glad I asked. All right. That's it for me. Anybody? Mr. Gordon?
Yeah, I want to know what magic y'all used in transportation to get transportation fully staffed, because that
One word,
It's leadership.
one word.
Yeah.
Director.
stood. Trust me, I understand that, because that's actually amazing, because it being in transportation, that have always been a battle.
Yeah.
To get drivers behind those seats. So it works out when you got the drivers in the seat. The state is happy. We get the buses that we need to get. They don't give extra buses because we don't have people to put in the seat. They're not going to give it. We have all the routes. And don't have the drivers. The state's out. Nope, you don't have to buy. So just that.
Well, that department has been restructured. There are new positions that exist. To Mr. Smith's point about fleet management, we have a fleet manager now. That person is responsible for all of those assets, the maintenance, the procurement, the assignment of, and I think that, that leadership makes a difference, and especially how we've restructured the department.
Yes, this is great.
It's a work in progress, but it's better.
It's great. It's great.
I was in Marine Corps
I
recruiting
appreciate
for
that.
3 years, and we were told as recruiters, I only had to do it for 3 years, and that was enough. But like we had 7 programs that we had to keep going all the time, and as long as you keep all 7 programs going, you won't be the one drawing a zero at the end of the month. You guys impressed the crap out of me with all the plates that you have spinning, and all the programs you guys going, and every pot that you're dipping into, and using everything that you have available to you to find people and create a culture where people want to come to us. So God bless what you guys do. I really do in that.
Well, we're going to share that with recruiters. In fact, they left for Alabama this morning.
Mhm.
So they're going to recruit now.
God bless you guys. Any other questions, comments, concerns on OE4?
Yeah. I want to go back to the recruitment in terms of LEAP. Did we define what exactly LEAP is?
Yes.
Oh, and what is that again? Excuse me.
The
Yeah.
Acronym?
Yeah, what exactly, what is LEAP?
that.
Right down the
It's on the screen.
Educated alternative path.
Right. No problem. So with that, so basically, what LEAP is LEAP in LEAP we have retiree teachers. Was that what
No, sir.
That's like you have to, if you have a bachelor's and you have a 2.5 high GPA, then you can qualify to come through the LEAP program, and you have to pass the prices. You have 3 years to do it. So if you have a bachelor's in social studies and you want to teach, then you can come. If you meet those qualifications, then you can qualify to apply for the program.
Right.
We'll evaluate your application. And if you meet all the qualifications, then you can be hired as a LEAP teacher. And you have 3 years. And we take the money out for the courses and everything that you take over the course of that time. Then you take those courses and while you're working and earning a full salary.
You have to understand, you have to analyze transcripts. So just because you have a
Right.
bachelor's degree, that doesn't guarantee
You
you
have the qualification.
any alternative program. You have to look at your transcripts and see what you have based in your transcript qualified for to teach in the classroom.
Right.
Like just because you have a degree in social studies, the courses that you've taken in social studies have to match what the state requires in order for it to count whenever she assesses the transcripts.
Thank you all. That's good information. I appreciate it. So to understand, basically LEAP is so, and I heard him go down go down these different programs. So LEAP program would be the equivalent of PACE. Is it?
Yes,
Yep.
correct. So it's
Same
just
idea.
ours. It's Beaufort
Right.
County School Districts, and then we have the other alternative ones that comes from the state as well.
Okay.
The other programs.
But these programs don't cost us anything, do they?
They cost the candidate.
They cost the candidate, not
Yep.
us.
Minimal.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's minimal.
It's very minimal.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, our program is a lot cheaper than PACE and Teachers Tomorrow. And
Plus, we don't have to drive to Columbia.
Correct. That's
Right.
the flexibility.
They don't have
Flexibility.
Yep.
And training.
Paying for their own coursework though, right? Yeah, okay.
And basically these are people that we're utilizing to put in vacant positions.
They're full teachers, just like any other teacher. But they are also part of the induction program, so they get that intensive support from mentors as well.
And they get contracts. So I would go back on the questions he was asking in terms of they come back with contracts. And also not some of them who are retired, they still get their retirement.
None of these folks are retired. Yeah, so there are no alternative pathway teachers that are retirees.
This is for people who have a bachelor's degree and never taught before. I did the alternative program. I have a
Yep.
marketing degree. My bachelor's is in marketing. I thought it was gonna be something to have me say, but that didn't happen. I started subbing
Right.
and my superintendent said, "Hey, don't you want to teach?" I said, "Sure." So I got into a program to where I had to take courses. He was able to go ahead and hire me while I took the necessary courses to get certified to teach. And then I was on a provisional for 3 years until I met all the qualifications, fulfilled all the qualifications to become a certified teacher. And that's basically what we're doing and for those students who are graduating with a degree and they can't find a job, they decide, hey, I want to teach, we can take a chance on them.
And they're coming from other industries, as you
Correct.
mentioned earlier. So if you're an accountant, you don't have a job, you can apply to be a math teacher. And if you meet the qualifications, then we can get you in a math class.
Okay. So with these 4 programs, so we have people who may be in the district already that may be for instance classified staff.
Mhm.
My question would be, how are we making this advertising for them in terms of getting into these programs and getting actually, you know what? Actually, I'll go ahead and say it, but I do know the answer to this because actually I just had somebody who did, but that's not why I just let you answer that, and then I'll actually go out and say what my concern is in terms of that. But how are we advertising this in terms of this program being offered by the district, because this district, we do a lot of PR.
Mhm.
And to me, this is one of the points where you have to embrace your own. And when I say embrace your
Grow
own,
our own.
that we have people
Yeah.
who may be in these classrooms who may have degrees who we could push to some of these teaching positions.
Mhm.
So by saying that, I'm answering and talking at the same time. I wanted to I do know that someone asked me where to go to for it because they had heard about it.
Mhm.
But my thing was that I know that also that we had a staff member. I mean, I was talking to some staff that were saying, well, the problem is even if they enter some of these programs, what happened well with in terms of when they need their hours, what that would look like, because certain districts are working with their staff in terms of they saying that if you need hours, that you can't get them here. So that's kind of the gray area. And so that's
not, they can get their hours because we're dealing with that now, but the schools that they're going, if they're not going through our program, and let's say like we have a situation now where we have some who are going through programs at other schools, they have to enter into an MOU with us. And there are certain things they have to complete with that MOU. And if that school doesn't complete it, then no, we can't give them the hours. But if they've met everything, we make sure they can get their hours before or after school because they're not allowed to get it during the school day.
Right.
And so we're working closely, very closely. We have one in a school in particular that we're working very closely with. And I just sent an email today. One of the students was asking, what's the update? I told her we're still waiting on the school. The school has to complete that MOU.
And that is good to know. And that's why this is these informations are these meetings are very informational and very informative to and able to refer back to that we have these conversations because of the fact that people, if we don't have these conversations, people will not know that.
Right.
Mrs. Smith, that goes back to asset protection.
Uh-huh.
That's one of the things that we have to keep the board away from liability as well as staff away from liability. So we are very particular about who and how we bring into the schools to give access to students and parents. So if we're working with the university, we don't bring anyone in unless we have a memorandum of agreement with them.
Right.
And they have to follow what we follow here. Our expectations for them are the same as for our employees. And they must understand that before we get here. If we didn't do that, anybody could come in. So yes, if they're with a university that will not agree to our terms, we're not going to take their students.
Okay.
It's a lot.
And some of
It's
them
a liability.
want their teachers to want these people to still get paid plus get the hours.
Yeah, we
And
don't
so
do that.
we don't do that. So what we have to do is they want us to pay them plus find somebody to do their job while they're working on their the hours. And we can't do that. We're paying somebody to do their job and paying them also. So again, we work with them before school and after school. They have to send us a schedule, and we also offer it during the summer, so they can work during the summer and work in the school and get their hours.
Yeah.
And you asked a question about recruiting. We ask our principals to ask every classified staff member if they have a bachelor's degree. We recruit them. We recruit them during orientation.
Yep.
And anytime we come in contact, if they tell us they got a bachelor's degree, we send them to Dr. Leach and Angela. Say, just send us your transcripts and we can help you get in the classroom. A lot of our SPED assistants are in the classroom now because we found they had a bachelor's degree and they were interested in teaching SPED. So we said, you're already working in SPED. You're already an assistant. You know what to do. Why don't we help you get your teaching certificate?
Thank you for the information. I have heard that, and I do know that I have been asking that question. But like I said, along the way, thanks for the informative information. But my question was more towards understanding the how y'all structure these programs, but also in turn to and for instance, let's say we have someone who's working as a teacher but wants to transfer over as a guidance counselor. So and therefore they may have to get some type of hours or something like that. So therefore there's a certain uh there's a certain pathway that they may have to take. And so the issue understanding it from stakeholders is that the pathway that we may have, other districts may have different paths. Now, what those paths are, I'm not sure. So that's why I brought the conversation to the table. So to understand it, but also y'all have given me some clarity on it in terms of there's some gray areas. And I know that our district HR not they're going to be very careful about those gray areas, and maybe other districts may not. I'm not sure what that is, but I just want to make sure that we are exhausting every avenue that we do have. But along with that is something that has brought me. I thought this was the time to understand that, so that they can come listen to this right here as well and get a clearer understanding, because we definitely don't want our other districts stealing our people who we've groomed in. I'm sure that have gotten their everything except their hours, and then they go to someone else and they get their hours from there, and now they're a great employee over there, but they got all their training from here. So when you look at the way in the balance, we lose on. So that's just a little of my questioning.
And it depends on the number of hours. Sometimes they need like 10 hours. You need 10 hours, we'll work with you. You need 50 hours, 75 hours. that's kind of hard to work with them during the school day, but somebody has to be in the classroom. What we won't do is remove them from the classroom as a teacher so that they can go get their hours.
Correct.
Because the kids are losing out. Correct. So we can't jeopardize, the education of the kids. Right. So this teacher can, and there's no guarantee that this teacher is going to stay once they get those hours. They can get a counselor's degree, take off and go to another county. Right. But we've trained them, and that has happened to us. So that's why we say you either have to, if you need that many hours, you need to resign from your position. And the principal we can rehire you. We just need to get somebody in there temporarily for those kids while you're doing what you need to do. Thank you.
That's it. Right. Saved rounds on OE4. Going once, going twice. All right, that's it. AR, HRS 16.
I'll let Ms. Robinson do that.
Yes, good evening, everyone. Okay, the HRS 16, we've made slight changes to that. That is our staff leave and absences policy, so our AR that we have there. Under the PPL or the paid parental leave, what we've added in the language has still been, because that was overlooked. It had never been added before. And when we looked at the state policy for that, it was never added. And that there was some conversation during the summer about should an employee that have a stillborn birth be entitled to the PPL. And so we have now added that language into that policy as well. That was the one. And also we added an addition, we expanded on it is now 16.2, our military leave. We have several employees of the last 2 school years that have been out on continuous or long-term military leave. And we just need to clarify that and put that in a more, so not only us, but the employee can understand what procedures they need to take if they do need to be out, if they're an active duty that got called to, if they're a reservist that got called to an active duty status, what's the process, the procedure, and not only that, but what's the process when they come back, especially if they've been out for over 90 days and they need to come back. They'll follow that process, and we align that closely to what the state has now as far as their military leave policy. And that is all we have done with this HR. That's 16.
I'm going to ask Ms. Swinton to take 2 minutes to talk about our experience with a stillborn birth and a parent who's an employee.
Yeah, so we had an employee who initially was denied PPL because of it not being defined within our policy. Got a call from her because we had a connection previously. She came, sat down with me, and was in tears the entire time. And the only thing that I could think that we could do was to advocate for this change to happen. Regardless of what happened at the state level, we understood from a place of compassion for our employees that it was important to recognize that the loss of a child during birth is still the delivery of a birth and is just as traumatic for that parent. So Ms. Walton was gracious and allowed that person to have that leave time so that she did not dip into her sick leave. And then we got to work on updating our policy to match the practice that had been put into place. And I will tell you that she has been advocating, not just here locally, but at the state level. And I think that legislators are making the necessary changes to have that changed across the state. But it was very impactful. And I think it really tugged at my heart personally to see her have to go through that, but then to say on the back end, I felt so supported by my school district.
Exactly. So we are ahead of the by adding that language now into our AR policy.
Mr. Smith?
I think that is something that we should send over to our what committee meeting we had this morning.
Legislative.
So I legislative. I think that's something that I'll take that seriously enough to say I think that's something that we need to refer over to the legislative committee so that they can help. We can help aid that because that is a part of what the legislative committee does. And I think that if y'all could possibly I believe we have a copy of that or shoot a copy of that to the chair of that committee or to just. Okay, well, yeah, so that she can see that I'm not sure if Dallas is on, but I think that would be something good for us to take a step in the right direction to bring the legislation because that is very important, and I believe that all our board members should be on board with that. And thank y'all for that department for doing that, because that is very any loss is a serious loss to be able to stay intact and keep mind and serve our kids. So that's huge within itself. Um, that's just first thing. And the second thing is I do know about the military because one of the schools we serve we had had a person who went off on military leave and came back, and she did think that the district appreciated how that the district has given her support in in her transition of leaving and coming back, and that was kind of conveyed to me, and so I give the good, bad, and ugly, and all that in one, and so that was conveyed. So I definitely will give y'all. It's amazing that we're talking about it, but not heard about it a couple months ago. So I have someone who witnessed that. So I appreciate y'all because the person they felt supportive. So I just wanted to convey that. So that I do know that y'all are very effective in that area. So I just want to thank y'all on that one. That's all I have for that.
All right, anything else? All right, so do we need to cover the 16.2 separately, or was that your brief of it? Okay.
That's it. Yeah.
All right. Any other saved rounds over anything? Anybody online have any saved rounds? All right, is there a motion to approve the 4 OEs and move them to the consent agenda? Is there a second?
At this time, sure. I'll second that motion.
Any discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. And any other things, then without any, yes, ma'am.
Do we need to do anything with ARs?
ARs are just informative. Yeah, we don't need a,
You don't, no, correct. It's just, ARs are just for information.
Yep. Barney objection, we will adjourn.
Future topics.
Oh, future comment, sorry, and next meeting, sorry, my apologies.
In terms
Thank you,
of-
Mr. Smith.
No problem. In terms of AR, there's no ARs that go with these other. There's no ARs that go with these. There's any ARs that go with these OEs? Is that what she was looking
No.
at?
No.
Right.
The two that we just talked.
She wanted to know if you had to approve them.
Okay,
That was 16 and you don't
Okay,
approve
right.
ARs.
Okay.
Are there any future topics? I was going to say, Mr. Smith, that maybe you could bring up a future topic about the legislative committee at our next board meeting.
Yeah, I can.
Probably be the best way to do that.
Yeah, that's my problem doing that.
Next board meeting, our next operations meeting,
December 18th.
December 18th.
Bring out the agenda, Zoom link for a meeting that wasn't occurring yet.
All right.
It is, let me make sure. $5 is operations on the 16th.
16th or 18th?
16th.
Cancel.
That board meeting on the 16th?
No.
We only
Yep.
have one board
Yep.
meeting this month, and that's on the 9th. Mr. Hilton hit metal.
Yep. 16th at 1700 or 5 p.m. Okay.
That OE is.
Oh, yep. Barney, any objections? We shall adjourn by unanimous consent. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.